You know, selling your home, it's a huge deal, right? It's so much more than just a transaction. It's about closing one chapter of your life and getting ready to start a brand new one. So, how do you make sure that new chapter starts off amazing? Well, that's what we're here for. Let's dive into the professional playbook for making your home sale a success.
And really, think of it this way. You're not just leaving something behind, you're stepping into something new. And for any big journey, you need a map, right? Or, in our case, a playbook. It's what makes the difference between a really smooth ride and, well, a super bumpy one.
So yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you actually navigate this whole thing, which can be pretty complex, to get the absolute best outcome? That's exactly what we're going to break down right here, right now. We're opening up the Pro Playbook.
All right, first things first. Before we even talk about plays or strategies, you've got to define what a win actually looks like for you. A successful sale isn't some one-size-fits-all thing. It all starts with figuring out your own personal goals.
And when you get right down to it, it usually boils down to one of these three things. Is it all about getting the absolute top dollar? Or do you have a deadline, like you have to sell by a certain date? Or maybe, just maybe, you just want the whole thing to be as smooth and painless as possible. Seriously, take a second and think about it. Which one of those really resonates with you? Because knowing that, that's step one, and it's a big one.
And this right here, this is the classic trade-off, isn't it? It's like a seesaw. On one side, you have getting the highest possible price. On the other, selling super fast. It is a total balancing act. Sure, leaving your home on the market longer might get you a better offer, but then again, maybe not. Getting your head around this push and pull is absolutely key to building the right game plan.
Okay, so once you've got your goals locked in, the next step is huge. You've got to pick the right person to help you get there. And listen, this choice is critical. You're not just hiring an agent. What you really need is an advisor, a true strategic partner for this whole journey.
Just look at the difference here. On one side, you have a functionary. They just, deliver information, check the boxes. They're replaceable. But a consultant, an advisor, that's a whole different ballgame. They're in the trenches with you, developing a strategy, leading the tough negotiations, and managing the entire shebang from start to finish. I love this analogy. It's the difference between having a taxi driver and having your own co-pilot.
And let's just be real for a second. This quote, it says it all, doesn't it? Somebody has to help the inexperienced agent become experienced, but it doesn't have to be you. Experience isn't just a bonus feature, it's essential. We're talking about one of the biggest financial moves you'll ever make. This is not the time to be someone's guinea pig.
So what does a real advisor bring to the table? Well, think of it as their core commitments to you. First, they build a pricing strategy that's based on actual data, not just a gut feeling. Second, they create a marketing plan to get your home seen. Third, they lead negotiations like a pro to protect your interests. And finally, they manage all the nitty-gritty details of the closing process. That is what a real partnership looks like.
All right, let's get into the playbook itself. We're going to walk through the whole process, step by step, from the moment that for sale sign goes up to the second you're signing on the dotted line.
Look, I know it can seem overwhelming, but if you look at it from a high level, the whole journey really just breaks down into these 4 key stages. You've got preparation and pricing, then strategic marketing. After that, offers and negotiations, and finally, the closing process. See, when you break it down like that, it feels a lot less daunting, right?
Okay, let's zoom in on that marketing piece for a minute. To really get why this is so critical, think about this number: 10 weeks. That's it. That's the average time a buyer is actively out there looking for a home. That is your window of opportunity. So the big question becomes, how in the world do you grab their attention in that short amount of time?
And the answer lies right here. This data is, wow, 100%. 100% of today's buyers start their search online. Let that sink in for a second. I'm going to say it again, 100%. The old days of people just wandering into a real estate office, pretty much gone. Your home's first showing doesn't happen in person anymore. It happens on a phone or a laptop screen. That means your marketing strategy has got to be digital, period.
And that right there is the whole point of a great marketing plan. It's not just about slapping a listing up somewhere. It's about casting this huge net to catch as many qualified buyers as you possibly can. Because the more buyers you get interested, the more competition you create. And guess what competition does? It drives up the value of your home. Simple as that.
All right, let's tackle the topic that everybody thinks about, but nobody really wants to talk about: Commissions. Yeah, it can be kind of awkward, but let's just be totally transparent and break down exactly how they work and, more importantly, why they work that way.
And this is probably the #1 question we hear from sellers. Wait a minute. If the buyer's agent is working for the buyer, why am I, the seller, the one who usually pays them? I get it. It sounds totally backwards. But there is a very smart, strategic reason for it.
Okay, so here's the secret. Offering to cover the buyer's agent commission. It's not a cost, it's a marketing tool for you. It gives every single agent out there a reason to bring their buyers to your doorstep. It gets you maximum exposure. Now think about the alternative. If buyers had to cough up that fee themselves, what would they do? They just offer you less on your house to make up for it. So you'd probably end up with the same amount of money, but with way fewer buyers competing for your home.
So here's the bottom line. A buyer has a budget, right? A total number they can spend. That number has to cover everything: the house price, closing costs, agent fees, the whole shebang. By you offering that compensation, you're just making the package as attractive as possible to the biggest group of buyers you can.
So, as we bring this all home, let's just circle back to the 3 keys to a successful sale. It's simple, really. First, you need crystal clear goals. Second, you need a trusted advisor, not just some person filling out forms. And third, you need to follow a proven, strategic process. Get those 3 things right, and you're in great shape.
You know, at the end of the day, this whole playbook is really about one thing: putting you in control. It's about giving you the clarity and the confidence you need to take charge of your sale, to close this chapter and to start that next one exactly the way you want to. You're the one holding the keys.
So there you have it. The playbook is in your hands. The only question left is, what's your first move going to be? Because trust me, with the right strategy, your next chapter is ready and waiting.